Hi guys, today we are going to be doing another multiple look video and I am going to be using another one of the Blendbunny palettes. My latest video should have gone up already and that was with the Blends palette. I will link that in the corner if you want to check it out, but today we're going to be using the Surge palette and I'm so excited because this color story is so beautiful. This is such a fun palette and I really enjoy the inclusion of the shimmers in this. I think that these shimmers were very well thought out to go with the rest of the matte. So this video is going to be structured in the same way that I did my last one, and that we're going to do one look on camera now, and then after I'm done with the look, I will show you the other looks that I've done with this palette, just sort of like a short video so you can see how I did it, but I'm not going to be explaining everything. And then I will tell you my review on this palette and how I feel about this palette in general. I do have a code with Blendbunny, and so far, I know I keep saying this, but like I love the brand and I want to share the love with you guys, and you can save 10% off if you use the code Annette. It is affiliated, just so you know. But let's go ahead and dig into this palette. So I sort of have a bit of a plan today, and I was looking at my drawers and I found this white P. Louise base. So I do kind of want to use one of these neons, and I'm thinking I want to do like a neon inner corner because that is just like, I love doing that. So I really want to use this yellow in my inner corner, and then I want to do, I'm sort of thinking of using like the teal up here. Like this looks so pretty and such a unique tone of, is it even teal? It's more like a bluish green. I mean, which is a teal, but like this one is just a little bit more on the blue side. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think that we're gonna be able to do something really fun with this. So I'm going to start by priming with my regular eyeshadow primer, which is my P. Louise base, and then I will use the white eyeshadow base just where it is that I want it after I'm done with the rest of the eye look, because I don't really like using a white base all over because I just find it to be way too light and kind of stark, and I like to blend my eyeshadow primer all the way up to my brows, and I just find that if I have white underneath my brow, it just looks a little bit crazy. So I'm just not really a fan of that, and I also don't like using two different eyeshadow primers to like prep my eyelids, which, I mean, to be fair, is kind of what I plan on doing for this look, but I'm only going to use the white in the inner corner, so I think it's going to work out just fine. I definitely could do something like super fancy with this, and to be fair, like none of the looks that I've done have been like really crazy, but that's just because like that's not really, like, look, I like to play with color, but I'm not someone who really enjoys doing like crazy cut creases and like art and stuff on my eyes, and I don't need to necessarily use like 12 of these mattes on my eyes in order to get a good eye look. And I feel like sometimes Instagram, at least for me, makes me feel like when I have a palette like this, I need to do something like extremely out of the box and insane and like neon with black, and like I just don't have the patience for that. So I'm just gonna do a normal eye look because I feel like that is what I like to wear, and I know most people like to wear as well, and I know most people don't do makeup like specifically to make content, and that is definitely not what I do. So I'm going to start with this shade as my transition shade. I might use a little bit of the one above it to blend it out after, we'll see. This is a shade called Rush, and I'm just gonna start that in my crease. I'm gonna pack this on quite heavily. I do think I am actually going to use some of that other shade to blend it out with because this is quite dark, which I love that, but I do want to test out the lighter of the shades too. So I'm using one of the Blendbunny brushes, which are really, really, really nice. I've been very much enjoying them so far. They're great if you have small eyes like myself, or you just like small blending brushes, because these really get in there and they're so easy to lay down the color with exactly where it is that you want it. And this color is also just so cool. Like, I don't know if I have a matte in this color in my collection. I feel like this is something that's kind of hard to come by. So I'm just kind of placing this where it is that I want it to be, and then I will go in and blend it out afterwards. I'm not sure yet what I want to do under my eye, so I'm just going to leave my options open here because I might want to do, maybe I'll think about what I want to do on my eye. Let's see, what have I used in this palette so far? I've used like the green row, quite a bit of the green row. I've used some of the purpley tones, which you obviously have not seen those looks yet. Do I want to do anything under my eye that's different? I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll do like some brown under my eye. I know that's like kind of boring, but I think with a neon inner corner, that's gonna look really nice. So I'm gonna take the shade called Grunge, which is the darkest of the browns in the palette. I'm just gonna wipe off my brush and use the same one because story of my life. And I'm just gonna go ahead and smoke that underneath my eye here. And I think this is just going to provide a really nice contrast between the upper lid and the lower lash line. And I'm probably gonna use a little bit of black as well, just to sort of get the outer corner nice and deep. But like this has a bit of a, like a plummy undertone to it. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I feel like on the eye, this brown looks very similar to my hair color, which is obviously not brown at all, but you can see like on the edges here where it's blended out, it's definitely looking a lot more sort of purpley toned. But also remember that colors are going to blend out differently depending on the undertone of your skin as well. So I would say I have a pretty neutral undertone, and I don't know if that is why this isn't leaning as warm tone as maybe it would be in the pan if you have more of a warm toned undertone to your skin. But I really like the tone of this. Like, that is really, really pretty. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna use a bit of a fluffier brush here. Let me use this one, I guess. This is one of the small blending brushes from Unicorn Cosmetics, and I'm gonna use the shade called Chills, which is this one that goes with the same row. I really enjoy the row format, even though I'm not usually someone who likes to be told what to do. But like, it is really nice to just have them be placed there for you, so that if you do want to use a certain color story, you kind of have them all together if that is what you want to do. So I'm just going to use that shade to blend out the first one that I put down, and these two are just like meant for each other. This is such a pretty and really nice blending out shade. Wow, that was so easy. I literally did nothing and it just blended itself. I love the formula from Blendbunny. They're just so easy and effortless to work with. So because of how pigmented this color is, it has muted down the first shade that I put down a little bit. So I'm just gonna go back in with that one and make sure that I intensify that again here. But like, see how nicely that builds. Like, these colors just build like such a dream. See, this is why I usually like to start with my inner corner shade if I'm gonna do like a pop in the inner corner, because I feel like I pull these in a little bit too much, just kind of forgetting that I was gonna do the neon in the inner corner, but it's fine. At least I'm gonna have that white base down, so I can cover this up a little bit if I need to, but I think this looks nice. Next, I'm gonna go into, I was gonna say the black, but I sort of wanna use this one that's on the same row as well. This one is called Linger. It is almost like a black, but it's like a black with like a teal undertone. So we'll see on the eye if it ends up looking different than black or if it just looks black, but either way I don't really care because I just want to have like a super deep outer corner. Yeah, it definitely looks almost like a dark gray on the eye, but it doesn't look, does it look black? Maybe it looks black, but it's not as black as the black. I hope that makes sense, but this is really, really nice as well. I'm gonna mostly keep this in the outer portion of my crease here as well as on my lid. I'll take it a little bit in through my crease, but not all the way. And I think that that looks really nice and everything just blended so smoothly. Yeah, I love how that looks. Just going back in with that shade that I used underneath my eye just to make sure that the outer corner here is looking nice and that I kind of connect this here ever so slightly. Just tapping these colors together. I don't want to super over blend them. Just want to make sure that they touch each other here and everything is looking nice. Okay, very happy about this. Do I want to do the inner corner before I do the shimmers? That is the question, isn't it? I think I'm gonna wait with the inner corner, or maybe I'll do that now. Maybe I'll actually do that now because I do want to sort of blend the shimmers into whatever I have going on here. So I'm going to take my white P. Louise base here, which I have not used in forever. I hope this is good still. Let's see if I remember how to even do this. I'm gonna use a small pencil brush to apply this with. This one is from Kaleidos, but any pencil brush will do. And I'm just gonna put that eyeshadow primer down where it is that I want my inner corner to be. Yeah, I think this is gonna do exactly what it is that I wanted to do and just provide a really nice bright canvas for me to put that neon on top of. And neon shades do tend to need some kind of a sticky base to be put on top of. I don't know exactly how these would perform without having a super tacky base, but I would assume they would show up, but maybe not be like true to pan. So I really want this to pop, which is why I'm using the white here. So we'll see if it ends up turning out like really yellow or if it has like a tint of maybe green to it, because I did sort of, I feel like it blended a little bit in with that blue, but that is okay. So I'm gonna take the shade called Shocked, which is the one down in the corner here. This one looks so pretty. I'm gonna take that on another pencil brush here. This one is from BH Cosmetics. I don't think it's available anymore. I'm basically just going to very heavily pack this right on top of the, wow, that is so bright, of the primer. And yeah, like I said, it might lean a little bit green, which I feel like is looking almost more like a neon chartreuse green rather than a neon yellow, but that is totally fine because this is gonna look great anyway. I'm just making sure I pack this on as much as I want it to be, just blending it a little bit into that blue, but not too much. And also just gonna blend it into that shade that I have underneath my eye. But I think that is exactly what I want it to be. Like, that is so bright and so fun. I love this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same on the other eye, and then we can do some shimmers over the top of this. I think I might just use like one of the lighter shimmers because that is just going to really make this the highlight of the look, which I really want this to be like the main focus here. Next up, I'm going to take some of my NYX glitter primer, which I use with all of my shimmers, especially with a shimmer formula like this, because these shimmers are a little bit hard to pick up on a dry brush. So I like using my glitter primer with a brush and then using the same brush into the shadow because it picks up the shadow so much easier. And I've never had any problems getting hard pan that way. I know sometimes I get comments about people asking about that, but I have never had any issues. So I think I'm just gonna use this blue all over my lid, maybe a little bit of, actually maybe I'll use both of these. I think I've used the green before, but I mostly want to use the turquoise. So I'm gonna start with this one. This one is called Underneath. And I'm gonna start that in the middle of my eye here and then blend it outwards. And then for the front portion, I will use the green shade. That is so pretty. I feel like this one is a little bit smoother. I feel like the shimmers in this palette aren't as like sparkly and glittery as the ones in the Dollhouse palette, but I still really enjoy these. Like, they're quite nice and, like I said, smooth, but they still pack a punch and has a lot of impact to them. And I think that the colors they chose go really well with basically everything in this palette. Like, there is one for each row, but I like the depth of the shimmers. Personally, I like having lighter shimmers on my lid rather than darker shimmers, and I feel like all of these shimmers are shimmers that I could use as a lid shade and not feel like it's like too dark, you know what I mean? And this is just blending so nicely into the mattes as well. So with the other side of my brush here, this is a Rephr brush. It's the 03, I think, 02. I'm gonna go into the green that's next to it. This one is called Limitless. And I'm just gonna put that on the front portion of my lid here and blend it into the blue shade, as well as sort of blend it into the inner corner a little bit, but I don't want these to really compete too much, so I'm gonna try not to blend them into each other too much. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it with the eye. I think I really like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off and I'll come back, I'll show you the look, and then we can, I can show you the other looks that I've done with this palette as well, and I will give you my thoughts on this. Okay, so here's how I decided to finish off. I did quite a few things because I realized I hadn't even finished my face before I started this video. So let me start with lips. For lips, I'm using a lipstick by Charlotte Tilbury, and I love this. This is in the shade First Dance. It doesn't really go with the look, but it kind of goes with the look at the same time. I don't know. I just really wanted to wear it because I love this lipstick so much. I'm also using a lip liner from Laura Mercier, and this is in the shade, let's see, what are you called? Macaron. And then in my waterline, I went with, can you even see that? Am I looking in the right place? Let's see. I'm trying to find it. I'm using this one from Colourpop. This is in the shade Crybaby because I wanted something light. I definitely prefer having lighter waterline colors rather than darker ones, which I'm sure you've noticed, because I just find that it really like opens my eyes a little bit more. So yeah, that's how I finished off. For my highlighter today, also I'm using one from Lethal. I don't know the shade of this one because it's in one of my kind of custom palettes or one of the palettes that they sent me. I'm using this one. I don't know, I just hadn't used it in a while and I wanted to use it. So as for my thoughts on this, let me first show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette, because I've had such a good time with this. Not only this palette, but also the other palettes from Blendbunny, and I know I've said that many times, but I find that their formula is extremely user-friendly. I know I'm beating a dead horse, I know I'm repeating myself, but like this is how I genuinely feel about these palettes. And if you haven't watched my other videos on the other ones, I still want you to get the information that I've told you already. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but I find their formula to be very user-friendly. They're very pigmented, but they're also very easy to blend out. They're very easy to build. You don't have to go dark to light in order to get a really, really nice blend with these. You can absolutely start with the lighter shades if that is what you prefer. I know that people do it differently, but just know that this palette can be used both ways, and I really like that about it. I think that the color story is amazing. I think that the shimmers in this are nice, but I feel like they're a little bit different than the ones in the Dollhouse palette, but not in a bad way. Like, I really like both shimmer formulas personally. I would say the only shimmer that I don't really love in the Surge palette is the one called All Mine, which is a pink one, but only because it doesn't have as many like glitters and sparkly particles in it as the other shades in here. But otherwise, I think they're beautiful. They wear very well on me. The Beauty Base shimmers and the Glamlight shimmers can sometimes tend to crease a little bit on me, but I find that these don't crease as much. There's a tiny bit of creasing by the end of the day, but like nothing that bothers me in the slightest. And I just think that the color story and the layout and the idea behind this palette and the brand in general is just, it's just great. Like, I'm super excited to see what they come out with in the future. I really, really, really hope they come out with some smaller palettes, because I feel like even though like all of the palettes that Blendbunny has come out with has been like, I don't want to say like basic rainbow palettes, because they're absolutely not. Like, they're the complete opposite, but some people might look at them and think that they are. But I feel like Blendbunny would be able to make some really nicely curated smaller palettes that would be interesting but also easy to use. I feel like a lot of the time when brands try to be like almost a little bit too fancy with their color choices, like it ends up being a palette that's sort of all over the place. It's sort of just missing some light and dark shades, like something that can be blended into like the other mattes in the palette, and I just feel like it's not, sometimes it's not thought through in a practical way. It's more like, okay, which colors do I want to put into this palette? And then they don't think about how you can actually use those colors. I hope that makes sense, but I feel like Blendbunny would be really, really good at putting together color stories that make sense but are also interesting at the same time, and it's going to be like color stories that you'll be able to properly use and get a lot of looks out of, because they're versatile in that which mattes are mattes and which shimmers are which colors are shimmers. I don't know. I think you get what I'm trying to say, and I'm just really excited to see what they do in the future. I've just had a blast playing with all of the palettes, and I know that they're going to be in my rotation for a very long time because they're just so reliable, I think is the right word I'm looking for. Like, I know if I reach for a Blendbunny palette that I'm not going to have any issues. I know I'm not going to have any problems with patching. I know the shadows are going to wear well. I know that I'm going to get a look out of it that I absolutely love, and I'm so happy I tried this brand. And like I said before, if you haven't tried this brand already and you're eyeing it, you won't regret it. I promise you, you will not regret it. So that's going to be my thoughts. Let me know how you like the looks. Like I said, they're not like fancy looks by any means, but they're just the kind of looks that I like to do, the kind of looks that I like to wear. And I just had a really good time with this, and thank you again, Blendbunny, for sending me this palette. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I think the neon is also extremely nice. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some other multiple look videos, I do have plenty here as my playlist, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.